Number 3 currently underway here for the Day 2 semifinals of the JORD Invitational. Spawning in the top right corner of the map, we got the red Zerg player from Team Liquid. Give it up for Snute.
In the bottom left, as the blue Zerg, it's Moosegills.
I feel like, oh boy, some network spikes. This could be a problem. I think we'll just sit through it, because the last thing I want to do is be forcing these guys to remake all the time. If it happens again later today, we'll look into it more. But I gotta tell you, like, watching Snute lose a cheese is fairly rare when we cast him, and more to the point, it's like I can't help but think of that moment in 300 where it's like watching a God King bleed as he like cuts Xerxes across the face. Like, it's, I don't know, it proves that Moose goes, hey, okay, it's a little bit cheesy, and maybe he has to rely on cheese to win, maybe he doesn't, I don't know. But he's able to take a game off of Snute, proving that this matchup isn't impossible for him to win.
Yeah. I don't know if people realize how nice it is to get such an immediate snapback victory, you know? Like, you go down 1-0 and it's not that big of a deal in best of 5, but then you just immediately turn it around in the span of like 5 minutes. Like, the sense of dread after the loss is immediately just like reversed. You're like, okay, this is fine, it's just like 2 more games and whatever, I'm good. It's gotta be feeling pretty okay now for Moosegills. Not great, but okay. Because again, I don't know if he's thinking that I can't beat Snute in a upright game, right?
I think a lot of it too, and I kind of want to stress this too, is that it was the North American server advantage. You don't try and pull something like that off with so much precision when you're playing on Europe. Now we're back on Europe, and it's Snute's home field advantage, and I think that's a pretty big part of why we don't see like a cheese follow up that cheese.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot to mention it in the, because there was a cheese going on, right? I did, sometimes it depends on the day sometimes about, like, how much lag there is, but sometimes we'll cast, like in the qualifiers for our tournaments, I remember very specifically at least 2 more occasions where they flip-flopped servers, and they would flip, like, the wins on the servers, and I'd be like, oh, I guess this really does impact them. But again, it seems to depend on like the time and the day and how lucky each person gets with the server.
Nice pull away with both sides of that, by the way. Lings, nobody loses anything just yet.
But still, it's gonna be a pool first for Snutes, similar for Moosegills. Of course, Coda was a small map. Exhibition loss, kind of like it's not Cactus Valley, right? Which was vetoed, unfortunately. So no intro, but. Both kind of small maps. It's better safe than sorry. This is always the old saying. Even if it is back to Europe, it's possible Moosegills just tries to get 2 instant wins in a row. Because honestly, a 10 or a 9 pool, whatever that was, 8-9 pool without gas, just the pool. Man, I felt really confident being like, yeah, it shouldn't end here. Because usually we do not see it end there, especially with Snute. Yeah. Now, Snute might be reconsidering his defenses as well.
Well, this is also one of those things where I'm waiting to see, obviously not so much for Moosegills here, as nothing's on the way, but more so for Snute if he's going to start cutting drones. I mean, I think 6 is pretty much the latest you want to do this on. If he does decide to go for Ling-Alling, great. If he doesn't, we'll just keep seeing more drones coming out of him. It'll just have that speed to use for later. But Metabolic Boost, as funny as it is, sometimes is not a great upgrade to have. A lot of times, you'll see one player go for Metabolic Boost and the other play like Moosegills where you skip it intentionally so you use all that gas to go towards roaches. And if you hit early enough and hard enough, those extra 4 or whatever roaches you get from that gas, that speed difference you have, it can end the game.
Yeah. Well, Stu gets a scout, a little bit of a scout anyways. And he actually kind of begins to mimic Moosegills' own build. So he gets a pretty fast layer himself, only slightly behind. He gets an Evo Chamber and a Roach Warren. He's a little behind on all aspects, even on the drones right now, though 5 more are popping out. But it's still like, it's a very, oh, well, okay, that gold base kind of throws things into it. Right? So the gold base is interesting. I'm going to find that really hard to defend, though, because first of all, it's CBZ, and Nova's going to see this, right? Oh my god, doesn't see it. Oh,
so this is something that you really expect to see come out of a early. Yeah, I can't believe he doesn't see that for real. It's Gambino. He's like,
oh no,
there, he's moving away from it.
Oh my god.
Anyways, this is something I would expect to see out of a quick natural or versus another race. Not really here in ZVZ, but he's gotten away with it in such a big way. Now, if Moosegills was paying attention and didn't just write that off as Lings in the middle of the map, he would have seen that drone transfer. Should have seen that drone transfer.
Yeah. I would have also seen it if it was going to be in ZVZ as like the first base taken, so like the natural, right? And then also followed up with like a Ling attack to kind of distract them from focusing on it. The way that Snoot's done it, if Moosegills had immediately seen it, if that overload was in the correct position, he could have immediately just been like, oh, I'm gonna punish that, like, you know, straight off the bat, I'm gonna go and make roaches and kill it. Or maybe he was a little more hesitant here, and I mean, he's not even going forward, right? He's trying to protect his own third. Because God forbid he loses like a regular third, and gets Snute to have a gold base third.
Does he still not know about this? He still doesn't know about this. I don't think. I really think he saw that. The drone transfer on the minimap and assumed it was Lings.
It probably. I mean, they were so stacked together that usually doesn't happen with Lings because they just like come out in like spurts. But yeah, I think you're right.
And, like I want to stress, like this isn't a thing where we have Moosegills being stupid or anything. This is actually a perfectly reasonable assumption to make. The problem is he's gonna be shocked and awed when he walks around with these roaches expecting it towards that natural, and Snoot's just got so many more than him because of that gold base economy.
It's so silly too because he has no coverage on the actual third, right? So he's not like, oh, he doesn't have a third. What's going on? He just assumes the third probably up to the top left.
It's Moose King, Moose King Prime.
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, it's always expedition lost, right? Like this is the case. Now, I actually like this. He's gonna take the attack up here and create a concave at the top of the ramp. Snute can't really push into this if he wants to hold his ground to fight. Doesn't take the small side though, so Snute starts walking around. He starts getting on top of this. The roach count fairly even, but Moosegills should have, could have, would have had that concave here at the top of the ramp. Coming from behind with a couple of roaches, gonna bully one or two at the bottom, and he takes a really good fight here with this.
Yeah, I love the queen kind of helping out, but there are the reinforcements also getting a surround now on Moosegills' roaches, and it's starting to hit that time where Snoot's gonna really start feeling the benefit of having that gold base, and actually even more drones than Moosegills.
Like, he's got to see these... another big thing, though, is, like, roaches coming out of the middle of the map. Like, were they just misrallied there? I don't know.
Oh, that's weird. It's so easy to get caught up, though, when you're focusing on one thing or the other. You know, he's probably like, okay, I got 3 bases. I'm going to attack back the, back the rocks, and hopefully he doesn't notice. Oh, God, he noticed. Let me pull back. And you're just not thinking... Okay, he doesn't have a third because you don't know. First of all, again, the Overlord not on the normal third, doesn't see it. He's finally going to see the gold base. Oh,
he actually finally saw some creep in the middle of the map. Okay, so finally clued him into it. So this is a little bit painful for you to realize, oh man, how long has he had this for, right? Snute has got defender's advantage on his side. Moosegills did come into this fight with a roach lead. I think he's still got more roaches here initially on the front lines. But again, for Snoot's sake, gold base defender's advantage should make these fights a lot easier for him to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, he's banking a lot of cash here. Is this really the gas is restricting him, maybe getting another gas guys are quicker, but he's still like overpowering the roach numbers.
It's such an awkward fight going on right now. But yeah, it is defender's advantage that's slowly pushing us back. Oh man, Moosegills. Because yeah, we always talk about it, like whether it's a regular base, or more importantly for gold bases, you never see an immediate return on your investment. It's after you've mined for like 5 minutes with that accelerated income, suddenly you realize like, oh, I've got so much more money than my opponents. Yeah. So I mean, Snute, if this was something where he recently established this, and Moosegills is like, okay, you know what, I'm not that far behind, this isn't a big deal. But he doesn't know when Snute took this as the problem, and he has no idea that Snute's had this for a very long time.
Yeah, and also because of the gold base, he was allowed to get even more drones, right? Like you get so much faster mining, then he'll go more into the drones. So he's been at like 10 or above drones than Moosegills for quite a while, even more. I think he only just recently made like 5 more drones, and I mean Snute got away with it, right? He's able to defend both attacks that could have maybe been the key timing, but they weren't quite that timing, and now he's going to just lose. He's down by 30 supply, and he's no hope of stopping Snute from just overpowering him. I mean, his harassment's kind of trying, but there's no burrows or forward movement. Even the upgrade's starting to fall behind.
I mean, I want to point out too, even now, being down in supply, finally down in supply, is emphasizing my point here, Moosegills was taking pretty good fights. Like, sneaking up the top of the ramp through the rocks in the back, even slugging it out back and forth with what should have been an easy hold for Snute. I mean, Moosegills has been playing this pretty well. It's really unfortunate that he's getting screwed by the gold base scenario. I mean, he's on his own third, and as we can see through actual resources lost, it's still not been that crazy. But it's at that point now where Snute's starting to snowball. That army supply reflection here, that's the gold base kicking into effect.
Snute was gonna try for the back rocks, and Moosegills kind of called it, kind of threatened his gold base, but now he's also gotten himself out of position on the concave and the low ground.
I feel like that bluff was necessary.
Snute should take this fight, no problem. I mean, it's seconds away from, well, 30 seconds away from the +2, but yeah, the roach count is just, that's insane. Yeah, it's a gold base.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, I feel it counts because Moosegills, I think, played this pretty well, but it's really unfortunate. Snute did play it way better, so I guess not unfortunate, but unfortunate for Moosegills. Congratulations, Snute. He'll lead this series now 2-1. But again, remind